Conrad Weiser's story actually starts in what is now present-day Germany, and they arrived here somewhere between 1729 and 1730. We don't think that the house that we call the Weiser house today was the first house. He, in his account book, talks about at one point paying somebody to pull down the old log house, so that they probably lived in a log house for a bit and built the stone house. The house, as it stands today, has been revised in a colonial revival method in the 1920s. And then a cyclone came and took the roof off, and then there was a fire in the house, so basically the house was gutted. And then in the 1920s is when the movement was afoot to restore the house. The north side of the house has been turned into an exhibit space with a lot of interesting panels. The south room is the actual, what we call the Weiser house, and it is furnished with antique 18th century appropriate furnishings. However, there are no actual furnishings that were of the Weisers in that house. One of the most interesting things that you'll see in the house and in the panels was the number of famous people that actually came here, like Benjamin Franklin and James Hamilton, one of the governors. The other interesting one is a portrait. Now, as of right now, we know of no actual portrait of Conrad Weiser. However, there was a meeting in 1742 by Count Zinzendorf, a Moravian missionary, came here and asked Conrad Weiser to take him up to the Indian town of Shamokin. That happened, and then 2 years later, Zinzendorf decided to move back to Germany. At that point in time, he thought, I think maybe we should have a painting done of that. So he got a painter over in Germany, his name was John Valentine Pate, and from Zinzendorf's memory, he painted this picture of Zinzendorf, Weiser in the middle, and Shikellamy, the Indian chief, on the other side. So that is the only likeness, and we can't say for 100% certainty that that was how Weiser looked, but it's the closest as we have come to in this part. When visitors come and they say, well, how can 14 children live in that house? They had 4 teenage children already. 7 of the children never made it to adulthood. So by the time they got down here and raised a family, it wasn't as bad as one would think with 14. The heating was done by the fireplace of wood and by candles. The outside stone shell is what we think to be 1729, 30, 31 time period. As far as we know, it has always been on that site. The house as it stands right now has been remodeled, as I said before. However, we do know in his writings that he talks about paying somebody for bricks for his little house. And he also talks about the graveyard, which is just above the house. As you go in, you'll see all the period furnishings were of the period, and also pretty much of the Pennsylvania German style. He lived in that house from about 1729 until his death in 1760.